So hello everybody, welcome in this video discussing the Kings of War Greenskins paint set, a paint set made by the Army Painter in collaboration with Kings of War, which is a game produced by Mantic Games. Now this is essentially a painting set or paint set that offers you a starting palette for painting any type of orc or goblin army. And I already took out the different paints out of it, as you can see here. And as you can see, the paints it offers to start with, and which is fairly obvious, of course, 4 different types of green. You have angel green here, goblin green, jungle green, poisonous cloud, and those are like the 4 starting paints of green. Then we go over to the more brown reddish colors. We start with a crusted sour, fur brown, and then we go to werewolf fur. Werewolf fur. As you can see, then we go to the metal paints, which is like one which is gunmetal, which is like more stronger dark gray type of paint, of course, for your armors. And then we have an effect of dry rust and a wash of green tone. So I think this is a very good starting point for any orc or goblin army. For example, if you would buy this set, which is the Orc Morax troop made by Kings of War, you can see, I can take the picture a little bit closer. As you can see, you would obviously be able to use most of the paints and almost paint them in this color scheme. If you would buy a bigger box, for example this one, I think it also would be sufficient to start with these colors. Of course, you can always add some colors to your miniatures, and it would take me way too long to discuss all of the useful colors, but if I may suggest some of these, I would add Abomination Gore, very difficult to pronounce, which is kind of blood, useful for your bloody axes, swords, shields, and so on. Drake Tooth, useful for, of course, the tooth or teeth of your orcs and goblins or monsters that are part of your armies. And then Monster Brown, which is of course also very useful if you're painting an army that is that consists for a large part out of monsters. So, but these are of course only 3 paints that I would recommend. You can add way more, for example, different kind of metal paints. Now, what I would also recommend to buy with these paints, and this is especially if you're a beginner and do not know a lot about painting, I would recommend you to buy this. This is a color primer made also by the Army Painter. I think it's, some people are very rigorous in this, of buying the same paints and varnishers and primers of the same brand, so there would not be any conflict. So here you see a color primer, which is basically a primer and paint in one, so you can prime your whole miniature in a color that is basically the most important color of your miniature. For my army, I will paint an orc army. This will be gunmetal, like the metal used in the harnesses, swords, weapons and so on. So I will use this primer, and then I just have to add some green or any other color to it. So I would recommend you, if you would start painting such an army, to buy such a color primer. I would also recommend you to add some quick shade to it, which of course makes your miniatures more realistic. I have here a dark tone and a strong tone quick shade, depending on your own preferences. You can buy one of these if you prefer more darker or a more lighter tone, but I think a dark tone suits a goblin or orc army very well. So this was it for this video. To conclude, I clearly would recommend this painting set to anybody who wishes to start painting orcs or goblins. Can you paint a set with it? Definitely. I think all or the most basic colors are in it. I would add a few more, for example those I recommended, or other ones if you prefer other colors in your armies. But I think this is a very good set, very good starting point. It also helps you in finding the right starting position regarding your colors and color schemes in your army. So I think it's a very, very good set, and I would totally recommend it. So this was it. If you liked the video, please do not forget to subscribe, and hopefully I can entertain you in a next video. Thank you very much.